That's so lame. You know what I just realized? My transitions aren't working very well, are they? That just sort of popped. It's not supposed to pop. It's supposed to fade. Motherfuckers. Let's see if I can fix that. Setting. Transition. Fade. There we go. See, all that got reset and I forgot about it. Let's see. What do I want to listen to? You know what? Let's put Alexa, play album Retrospective by Hilary Hahn. So I can think. Heard a lot of noise today. So I apologize if I stumble into the camera and you see sweat and shit pouring from me. I've been running the air conditioner in here since I got home from work at 6 o'clock. And it was down to 75 degrees. It's gone up 2 degrees since I stepped in the room. I'm that hot! Yep, no. I don't know what's going on. So, I mean, it's just hot as balls around here right now. So, I mean, so I guess I know what's going on. It's just a matter of, it sucks what's going on. Alright, so what we said last night is I want to get this motherfucker done, right? And then we're going to try, preferably, right, to work on, I believe, the, oh yes, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to go darker. That's going to work. Get a little like this later on in here to give that a little more dimension. Yeah, it'll work a little better. Oh, go the fuck away, McAfee. I don't care. I grabbed that roll before I came in here. Every now and then I'm smart. I'm smart! I was passed over, Mikey. You can tell me what movie that's from. Like the old Marvel days, you'll win the Great No Prize. Yeah, it's funny. If you're not familiar with that whole story, if you're relatively new to comics and you didn't see like any comics from the old like actual, you know, Stan Lee days of Marvel, you may not be familiar with the No Prize. But there were people that actually got pissed off about that. Like Stan literally told you won a No Prize, and he actually would send you a letter. You would actually on occasion get stuff that says you won a No Prize. And people were like, "This isn't anything." And he's like, "It's a No Prize." Like, what part of that didn't you understand? See, I find shit like that hilarious. To me, that's like the best shit you can come up with, man. Circumvent the expectations. Like people come here looking for like a good painter and they find me. Ha! Fooled you. Sucker. Permanent green medium is going to come into play a lot more too. So now that I think about it, that's probably the better color to use because it's going to give it. While there's tints of it in the one behind it, I think it's going to give it a little more pull back, pull it away. Ugh, sorry about that. Fuck up the camera. Yeah, you know what that's way it was supposed to go. It's all about the discovery of sometimes figuring out what the hell's the right one to use. Because we'll get in here with a little bit kind of yellow ochre color, or not yellow ochre. Well, it's almost like an oxide that we mixed, but then we have an actual oxide that worked quite nicely together. Give like a little variation on each other. I like when I get colors like that sometimes. Like, they look very similar to each other, but they're just a little bit off. It makes it like, you know, like a major minor note. You know what I mean? I'm terrible with my music, like, knowledge base, but, I mean, I remember a few things from a class I forged my way into. I guess it's okay. I mean, the statute of limitations would probably fade on that, right? Because I can't take away my degree now at this point, right? In my school at the University of Arts, you had to take, like classes outside of your major, and I forget exactly how many you had. I think you had to take like 2. Now I thought, like when I took a sculpture class, that was a class outside my major. I'm a painter major, you know? But that apparently did not count. So though I took several sculpture classes, because they were considered fine arts classes, they did not count. So I found myself entering my last semester senior year, and they were telling me I was potentially not going to graduate unless I could get in either a theater class or a music class. Because the University of Arts, that's it. It used to be the Philadelphia College of Art and Design that married with like the Philadelphia School for the Performing Arts or whatever, and so they became the University of Arts. That's how it works. So I went over to the music departments because I figured, okay, you know, they teach music theory. Oh, fuck you, you're not doing this right now. Don't you fucking dare. Sorry, it's trying to do an update. Don't you fucking do it. I'll break your fucking ass, you piece of shit. Anyway, I go over to the music department, and I tried to find their head to sign me into music theory number 2, because they wouldn't let me just sign up for it, because it was the second part of a class, and I missed the first one. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm in a band. I know music theory. And I couldn't find the guy. Like, he just left for the day when I went over there. So I was like, oh, fuck this. I just signed my own. I just put his initials down on the paper, went back to my teacher. I was like, here, I got the thing signed. And so, yeah, I'm confessing to that now. I'm sure it's fine. And, man, I got in that class, and I had no fucking idea what the hell I was doing. They lost me on, like, day 2. But thankfully, he was also very understanding of my situation. I mean, he couldn't figure out who signed my paperwork. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I could have sworn it was you. Tim went to your office. You know. And he was a very good guy. And he passed me with, like, a you know, C+ or whatever it was. I forget. But he got me out. And got me out of the school. And I'm sure that made my teachers very happy, because none of them liked me. I was difficult to deal with. No, in my defense, they were mostly shitty teachers. So I had problems with the authority of them. I think I told the story here once when I was told by my one of the restaurants I worked at that I had a real problem with authority, and I was trying to, you know, my problem isn't authority; it's when authority fails. I can deal with authority as long as they're not morons. But when authority keeps pushing the same stupidity and and it's clear it's not working, I start to have issues with it then. Now I know you fight the law and the law will win, but the way I look at it is I can continue to go through my life totally accepting things that I see that are inexcusable in moments that I live in. Or I can fight them like hell and die knowing that at least I gave a shit. Given the options, I will choose the latter. Again, I'm going to kind of leave his eyes alone right here because I want to go in these ones first and drop in the kind of orange yellowish color I was talking about the other night. I really want these guys up here to start really like popping out a little bit. Giving me a little more personality in their eyes. I mean, I like this little yellow ochre color we mixed in them before, but for these, as things are moving forward, I want them to be a little more rah. See, I'm using my hand gestures because I'm still used to the camera being over there. And you guys aren't seeing my hand gestures. Now, I'll remind everybody again, I am going to be away next week. I am still going to try to do at least a few streams. I can't make any guarantees on when. I mean, I hope that it'll do Sunday night. Because we don't have a whole lot planned next Sunday. We're driving away on Saturday, and then we're going to Luray Saturday. Or, yeah, I believe we're supposed to try to hit Luray on Saturday. So I get some new photos so I can do more Luray cave paintings. And then we're driving away from there on Sunday. And, I gotta focus again. That is out of focus again. Sorry. And then we'll, I mean, we're doing like the Skyline Drive and stuff during that time period. But I should, and this is a big should, once we get to where we're going, be able to throw on the computer because we don't have really any plans for that night. So that would be Sunday. So I think I might be able to do the standard timing here. But it'll be like drawing. Maybe I'll grab one of the photos I take. Something like that. We'll work on something. I'm going to try to bring my the headphones I wore the night I streamed Rocket League. That'd be the easiest, and I'll try to grab a spare one of these, like bring them with me. I want to get a little bit of the outline of the eyes in there, but not too heavy. Oh, damn it, I forgot to do it again. I always forget it. Hold on, let me get you the base reference in case you don't. In case it's your first time coming to see this one. Reference image by Goya. Ooh. There we go. It was not sitting well with me today, but the fact that I I don't know why, but today it just bothered me that I was still working and where I'm working, and I can't seem to get out of it. So, my head was a little noisy. That eye over here gets a little bigger area around this, actually, so we can get a little wider. That's maybe a little wider up here, too. And then this will carve in. Just tell me I got 2 people here. Who's here? Say hello. Makes it much easier if I could talk to people. Admittedly, I'm not good at it, but I try. Start adding a little bit of like a drawing type element to the feathers in here. Remember to pay attention to what they're actually doing now. Speaking of drawing, I want to give a good plug to somebody who's a friend of mine. It's more focused on comics, but in how they're applying it. I guess is the way to put it. But the lessons really could be applied to fine arts, across the board. So I've been getting a good kick out of it, because even though I've been drawing since I was a small child and painting since I was, 16, 17 years old. 17, I guess, right? Yeah. I mean, seriously trying to paint since then. Not like, I did school paintings before that too, but, like actually working in oils and trying to become an actual painter. There's a YouTube channel hosted by Richard Friend, and I think that's his YouTube channel. I think it's just Richard Friend. Let me double check that real quick. Let me grab a link. Just get to his channel. Come on. Okay, see, he doesn't have it named, so I don't know if it'll pop up. So I'll do it this way. Here we go. Ready? This YouTube channel right there. Okay. That's Richard Friends. And he does a lot of really informative videos. He's an inker for DC Comics. I don't believe he's done any penciling recently. I could be wrong, but he's a phenomenal artist. He really is. And I've known Richard now back since the old Yahoo groups. Okay, if you remember, like MSN. There used to be MSN groups, and there were Yahoo groups, and they were kind of like a precursor to, I guess Facebook pages and stuff like. And it was, I guess back in, let me say, 2003. No wait, yeah, about 2003, 2004, somewhere around there. Maybe even earlier. You know what? Hold on. It might have been 2002. I stumbled upon the page when my buddy and I were trying to make our comic book Menace. And it was an artist's page, and at the time I didn't realize who Rich was. It was just sort of, everybody was there just kind of helping each other try to learn about comics and how to draw. And you post stuff up and they'd give good critiques. And it was a really spectacular artist community there. I wish I could remember half the handles that we used to listen to, because I would love to find some of those guys again, because they were just awesome people. And I kept hoping that, like, by posting on it, one of Rich's things, that somebody would go, "Hey, I remember you, Menaceart," and they just come over and say hi too. But hasn't happened yet. But the is it Requiem was one of the guys. He was really cool. I really dug his stuff. And but Rich does, like I said, a lot of informative videos on his site. He does stuff about inking. He does stuff about drawing. And even though he's trying to focus on the basics. I just realized this fucking thing's shuffling, isn't it? Piece of shit. Totally play straight. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. He focuses on the basics of trying to, learn to draw characters, and he does a lot of explaining about storytelling and all the stuff that's actually really important to comics that I think people get too caught up in drawing the superhero. And he does go over that stuff too, but he goes into a lot of detail about, breaking down a comic book page, and then he goes into some inking stuff. He's actually reviewing a book. Shit, I gotta remember the name of it. It's been on my Amazon wish list. Visual storytelling, framed ink, right? Yeah. It's framed ink is the name of the book. It's a really nice looking book about using, chiaroscuro and inking in comics and storytelling like that. It's just a really good, breakdown stuff, and he goes through it. So I highly recommend that page. If you're trying to break into comics, doubly so. If you're just wanting to kind of go over basics of drawing again, do it. I do it all the time. I went back actually the other day. About 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. I mentioned on here that I had found the video on YouTube that goes along with the How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. And again, I've had that book since I was 12 years old. 12-year-old me, unfortunately, kept ignoring the pages that were important about the stuff that, not just drawing your superheroes, about, perspective and about, drawing objects, drawing, cups, drawing lampshades, and all that shit that I don't think people really pay attention to in comics, but it's literally the difference between someone who's wants to break into comics and doesn't seem to get anywhere and the person that actually gets through. There's other starts with storytelling and stuff like that. And for the most part, the video is almost page for page, they basically read the book. But obviously get more, Stan Lee's inflection, hey, true believers, all that bullshit. It's a cool thing. So, and like I said, it's basics. But you know what? I always point to this. I'm a big baseball fan. And, one of the things they do every day before a game, almost every day, is... shit. No, they shit, but no. I'm sure they do. They do batting practice. These are guys that are professional hitters that are paid to literally just knock the fuck out of the ball. And they still show up and they get the ball pitched to them at 50 miles an hour or something a little slower, just to, loosen up their arms and go through the basics of the swing. And how many times it really plays out to have much of an effect on the field, I'll only point to this. Being someone who saw a great number of Phillies games working there at the ballpark, I can tell you it seemed like the Phillies always struggled on a Sunday when they didn't take batting practice, because they never take batting practice on a Sunday. So using that as a barometer, maybe they need the basics. Maybe they need to go over them every day, just a little bit, just to keep them fresh. Just focus on the importance of just the basic swing. So, like baseball, work on your swing. And like baseball, most of your paintings and drawings will be failures. Yeah, most of the time you look at it like a baseball player. Yeah, 300's a fucking great batting average. 300 means that, just about a little over every 3 times at bat, they're going to strike out or get out twice. You're going to fail more than you're going to succeed. The trick is getting up there and doing it again the next time. Not failing again, but getting up there and trying again. Like I said the other night, I'm not sure. I think the painting's coming along. I just don't think I'm going to find it successful again. I'm looking at this thing, and the more and more I look at it, I go, I'm not falling in love with it. Now it could just be at that awkward place. I find a lot of my paintings have that little spot, like right before they actually find what I'm looking for. They kind of look like shit. Sometimes it's just one color that I need to find. I always like to bring it up because it was one of the hardest damn paintings I ever did because it was just so fucking huge. I did a portrait of my wife back when we were dating, where she was sleeping, and I was fighting with that fucker for a long time. This is the painting where I went 48 hours without sleeping because I just couldn't figure it out. I lost time. I just literally had no idea what the hell was going on. It's very much like a fugue-like state where all I remember is the painting and briefly remember going out to smoke cigarettes because I was a smoker at the time. And it was only while I was smoking that I got what I figured out I needed. So that's why I think why I remember it. I was out smoking a cigarette. I had this nasty habit. I would spin my cigarettes in my hands when I was thinking. It's a weird little stupid quirk. But I, probably extremely dangerous. Well, not extremely dangerous, but probably dangerous. A little bit. Turns out that the color I was missing was like this orange color. And I just had to put a bunch of dashes of it, like pretty much everywhere. A little bit in our skin, a little bit on the cover, so that, the bed, a little bit of things, and it made me feel better about the painting. And made it feel finally unified, because that was the thing. I couldn't get it to merge together. The trick with my work, the way I do it, to me, is always trying to find that force which pulls it all together. I do everything out of a bunch of little dashes of color. I try to bounce them next to each other and bounce them off each other. Do all these little, tiny little moments. But if you can't get that piece that's just going to pull it up and yank them together, it's almost maddening. And so by figuring that out, if you could find that color at one space, and sometimes you got it right off the bat, and it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, you'll have it, and you'll be like, oh, fuck, this is the one. As long as I make sure this is tapping into somewhere down here, we're good. I mention a lot about Van Gogh cypresses at the Met. And that was a painting that for a long time I truthfully, as said many times, based on the prints, I did not like that painting. It was just mismatched to me, color-wise. But when I saw it in person, colors that I thought were one color were a different color actually in person. Because printing technologies, it's just photos, and I'm sure they're still running on like the same photos they used, 30 years ago, for God's sakes. But because of that, I didn't like the painting until I saw it. And so that's like what I'm trying to say is like you're always looking for that one little tone. And I'm not kidding. Sometimes it's one fucking dot. Like it'll be something here that makes the whole painting go, oh yeah, okay. Sunflowers has that too. The one in the Philadelphia Museum of Art. There's a little dot of red. It's just I don't know if he put it there on purpose or just dropped in there by accident when he's doing something else, but it unites the red line that's the back of the table, at least again to me. If you don't see it and you don't think it's important, you're wrong. But and the red in the sunflowers, in some of the centers of the flower. So to me, that's a very important little element you need to see and try to find in paintings that you look at and paintings that you make. You're saying, Brian, you're crazy. I said, that's not part of the point. I'm not arguing that. I know I'm crazy just by the fact that this morning before I left the house, now every Monday I got to take my son to karate. Alright. And I know this and I try to, look, I basically just sit there and play on my phone because it's nothing I can do. Like, teacher's in charge. I don't do anything there. I'm just there to take them and go back. Excuse me. And, but I try to bring my headphones with me, not these ones, but another set. And, it's like watch YouTube videos or play my games, whatever, like I said. And, I'm leaving the house this morning going, fuck, I don't remember where my headphones are. I moved them recently, and I was like, I thought I put them on this one table in our house, and they're not there. I have to call, remember to ask the wife that. I got into work today, and again, I always say, like, my brain hard resets going in and out of that place. If you tell me I have to do something during the day, you better send me something during the day to tell me I need to do it. Like, if you tell me before I leave the house, hey, don't forget you got to call so-and-so at 1 o'clock. I'd be like, cool. And I get to work, and I don't remember what the hell you told me. I have no idea what it was. I have no concept of what was said, what I agreed to, nothing. But the second I step out of the building, I'll go, fuck, I was supposed to call so-and-so at 1 o'clock. And that's literally every day. And I'm not trying to, pull literally, meaning figuratively. Every day something like that happens. And today it was, got to remember to send the wife something about my headphones. So I remember where they are. See if she knows where she put them. Because they were moved from where I thought I put them at least. And the place I thought I put them, my wife literally threw out. So I know it was moved. I hope it was moved. It was, but that's not here nor there. All day, I'm sitting at work going, I'm supposed to ask Heather something. What was I supposed to ask her? I wanted to send her a message about something. What was it? Was it something that I have to do for the vacation? Was it something? Fuck, what did I have to do? All day. As soon as I stepped out of that building, and I mean 2-3 steps out of that building, I went, my headphones. I got to ask her about the headphones. And came home tonight, and I asked her about the headphones. And she said, what do they look like? I was like, they're white headphones. What the fuck do you mean they look like that? They're iPod headphones. The same ones I've had for years. It's hard to tell if this little tail thing here belongs to this owl or that owl. Ah, well. Doesn't matter. We're going to say it looks like this one. Just fading back into the background here. I know, prattling all the stupid, useless stories, but nobody's talking to me. Makes it easier to talk to me. Oh, be better. But till then, I apologize. No one will get any Scuttle singing tonight. I'm sorry, I'm not listening to music with lyrics tonight. So if you came here looking for me doing my normal, nothing. Just move along. Let's use also streaming tonight. play something else you can look at. Alright, shit. I'm still on YouTube. Twitch. You got Bob Ross playing tonight. Phantom's playing. No, mute. There we go. Now, the other thing I might do when we're on vacation, if it comes to streaming, if I can't really get a nice setup for drawing, or if my kids won't leave me alone for drawing, maybe at some point I can stream the game House Flipper. I find that game to be incredibly chill, so it may work very well in a vacation, relaxing setting, as opposed to Rocket League, which gets me all like, ah! The only downside if I do it, I will have to run the dashboard from my phone. Because I won't see what anybody's doing if I'm playing without a second monitor. And I won't have a second monitor. Because I don't have one. I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say I did not win the Newegg contest to win a whole streaming setup thing. I am Jack's complete lack of surprise. I honestly don't know why I ever enter any contest. And I'll be, I still do just because, like, whatever. Usually I do it if it's something that either I already have no real faith in, but it's like, it's free, whatever, I don't care. So what, they get my email address, big fucking deal. You know how many junk mails I just literally go delete every day? It's fine. Or if it's something that, like the Flyers do, like a 50-50. So if I go to a game there, I'll buy like the 50-50 ticket, knowing that, look, I'm just basically donating $20 to charity. That's the way I always pick it. It's like, you know what, whatever. If I win, that'd be great. I'm not going to. I don't expect to. But I gave $20 to charity. I think that's the best way to look at it. But I don't usually play lottery or anything like that unless my wife literally says, go play lottery. Which is almost never. It's like when it hits like 600 million or something stupid. Right? Well, they're going to have to get a winner, right? But the last thing I ever won that I can recall in any type of contest that I actively entered. I could always point, I guess, to that I won the Roman Haas Award, but that's a different thing. That's a skill-based award. It's not just random dumb luck. Last big thing I remember winning was the Batman clock that I had when I was about 11 years old. 10 or 11 years old. It was at Comic Universe. It was a drawing they had. I bought it like 2 chances, I think. And Frank called my name, and I got a phone call. And I had to walk home. This big-ass fucking Batman clock. This is like right around the whole like first Batman movie with Michael Keaton, and it was a badass fucking clock. I mean, I wish I still had it, but I believe it died in one of our floods at my parents' house. But it was that was the last time I won anything that, like I said, I randomly joined or whatever, signed into. That's my luck. I did win another drawing from Frank's, but it wasn't like anything that big. I got like a Nightcrawler figure, some graphic novels, like 90s Captain America comics. But it was like, it wasn't the comics. It was like it was a graphic novel that time period. stuff. That's about, so I think like a Fantastic Four graphic novel or something like that. So, I don't bet on lucky things. My folks and I and my brother went to Vegas when I was 21. My folks have been planning that trip for a while, and it was like, oh, you know what, Brian, you're going to 21. Dave would come too, And we stayed at the Golden Nugget. That was like the only hotel my dad was really familiar with at the time. And, man, we just flushed that fucking, like, I'd worked a New Year's Eve gig as a waiter. Like, it was like a New Year's Eve. Yeah, we got paid like a stupid amount of money for a big ballroom type thing. I mean, it was one where you got paid by check, afterwards. Because it wasn't like you weren't waiting tables. You were more bussing in the long run. Because it was like, it's like a New Year's Eve gala party. So if you see like any bars open, that type of thing. Similar thing. But I got a big check for like $550 before we went out there, and I was like, "Fucking hey, all right, I'm taking $550 with me to Vegas, man." And like day one, like 300 of it was gone. My brother and I went to play blackjack, and my brother tried to teach me blackjack as he knows it. And I shouldn't listen to the fucker. Because like, okay, this is when you got to hit this and hit that. And I'm like, okay, and I hit, and instinctively I'm going, this is probably not a good idea to do this, Yeah, I guess by blackjack strategy, it was probably the right idea to do. But knowing me, it was probably the wrong thing to do. And sure enough, it was. And so we just pissed away my money that first night. We didn't go to bed until like 3 in the morning Vegas time. This is the night we arrived, by the way. Like I said, so we got off the plane from Philly, stayed up till 3 in the morning Vegas time. So it was like, 6 in the morning here? It was February. So it was, my parents called us the next morning for breakfast, like, what? We're like, yeah, we'll be right down. We came down like 2 hours later. We ate. I think it took to the third night before my brother and I realized that our best odds were at the bars. Not necessarily picking up women or anything like that, but we just figured we could, the drinks are cheap at a lot of those places. So we could beat them there. It was funny though, because we went down to the strip proper, Hey, there we go. Hey, thank you for the follow, man. But we went down to the strip proper, our third night, because Dad just kept us down on the what's that, Fremont Street, right? And we're down there. We were hitting a bunch of different bars and stuff. We ended up at New York. As we're walking into New York, we see, they had like one of those running boards, and it was like, playing at Times Square Bar, the Coates Twins. And we're like, the fuck? Now, we're not twins, but, oh, okay. All right, cool. Yeah. Lurk for lurk. Yes, sir. I do that, no problem. Hold on one sec. Right over. We're heading over, we head over there. We're like, okay, now me and my brother do look alike. We're not twins, but we look a lot alike, especially when I was still thin, like back then. My brother's still thin now, but at the time we were both like What the hell's happening here? That's weird. Oh my god, it opened up an Internet Explorer? Why? What the hell? Hold on here. Try to figure out why that did that. Oh, I know why I did that. Hold on. Stupid. Sent the wrong thing. And it popped open the windows. Anyways, the so we're over there. We're like, you know, fungal. I gotta go the other way around it. The I think that's the way to do it. So we wander over there. Now it was like kind of like a pseudo country act. Stop it! Stop! I don't hear myself. Damn it! I'm muting it. It keeps coming back to life. But it's these two twins that, believe it or not, my brother and I were looking at like, damn, they look a lot, and I mean fucking a lot, like my niece, his daughter, and we're like, you know. All right. Okay, cool. Now we're good. Now we Gucci. So we were like, all right, we gotta stay and watch this. At least, you know, maybe we talk to them at the end, find out if there's some way that they're related. Because now, a little family history here. My father is the second son of my grandfather, but he's from a second marriage. My grandfather's first wife died long before my father was born. And when my grandfather remarried, my uncle, who I have never met, I don't know, you know, anything much more than his name, you know, just found it a great offense that my grandfather remarried. And there was a pretty good age gap between my grandmother and my grandfather. I mean, my grandfather had my dad when he was like 50 years old. So, a little bit of extra family history there for you. But so we pretty much don't have much connection, or we didn't at the time, with anybody really on the Coates side of the family. We didn't really know anybody to talk to, you know. My Uncle Frank, wherever he may be, if he's still around and kicking, whatever, we have no idea. So we're looking at these two, and we're thinking maybe they're part of that family. We have no idea. We still never really got a clear answer, whether they could be related to us or not. They said that we looked like one of their uncles. They never said, you know, Frank or anything like that, so we don't know for sure. We eventually did start to meet some of my cousins and stuff, and we were not able to clarify whether they were aware of any, you know, musical acts named the Coates twins that look oddly like our family. Because the Coates genes do run strong. If you look at a picture of my father when he was, you know, say, my son's age, if you didn't see the actual difference in the photograph quality, you'd probably think it was my son. So it's like that type of, like, super strong family resemblance. But like I said, we talked to them after their show. And like, hey, you guys do sort of look like our uncle. And the one suddenly just sort of like, So, maybe they were. Maybe they know Frank and they'll talk to, you know, they don't want us to talk to them. Or, I don't know. It was a little odd. But we sat at that bar pounding drinks. while we're waiting for them to finish up their show. And it's great because we're both drinking for like $5, per round. It's great. Kick my ass like it does every time. Let's go. It's like the next track, isn't it? Maybe it's 2 tracks. I think it's 2 tracks. No. That's not what I said to do. No, that's not what I said to do. Olive green here. I think the olive's probably a better outlining color. So it's a little bit of the yellowish green there. It's a nice diverse color. Again, I always like to find things that work to kind of give me where it'll mix in nicely on the canvas. It'll hold a little bit of its color maybe, but it'll blend nicely with other things to give it a sense of depth. Sometimes I can bring it out on its own and, smack it around a little bit. Wax its ass. This place is not getting any cooler in here. Supposedly this will be over by Wednesday, so hopefully this fucking heat dies off. Kids got a kick out of watching the news tonight when they were showing the bridge in Chicago where they were having to hose it down to keep it from blowing up. I mean, it wasn't quite that, but they were like, "We crossed that bridge." Yes, we did. I was gonna go super nerd on him, pointing out that was the one the bridge's Joker threatened to blow up. You can't accuse me of doing it. I had nothing to do with that bridge. Oh, sorry. My wife came in here the other day. I was wondering why that Joker figure was out. I'm like, I literally stumbled on it, over my bookshelf, right over that way. I think you could say that way. And Because I was coming in one day, I was like, it'd be funny. I come back from my break and Joker's in the fucking camera. And she's like, okay, that's stupid. And I was like, yeah, I know. And she goes, okay. But she was telling me the other night, she goes, I keep thinking your paintings are bigger than they are because the way you take photos on Facebook. Cause after every night, like I said, I wrap it up here. I know these cameras suck, so I try to make sure that at least you get a shot of, what the painting actually looks like by going on to the Facebook page. So if you go on my Facebook page, and I will throw it up to, not like, but. I keep hoping if I type this enough times, it'll like eventually pick up when you Google it. But yeah, let me try this guy here a little bit. Okay, it's pretty much just the same type of green, a little different. But she was talking about the picture I take every night. She thought the painting of Wilma that we did in the previous round, previous session, and this painting, she thought they were much larger. And I was like, that's not the first time I've fooled you about sizes. Anyway, joke is it's true. No. One of the great things about my wife is how I'll drop stupid shit like that, and she'll literally like look at me, and it rolls over, like in her eyes. You can just watch it, just like okay, there's the stupid that I'm used to. Okay, let it pass. See, this is all new stupid to you guys. Don't worry, you'll get sick of it too. But by then I'll have infected you. Just like I did her. Ha ha ha. And you'll be mine for the ages. Oh, you'll realize what a colossal waste of time I am. Yeah, before my wife joined Facebook, I used to do all these types of things on there. My friends would be like, oh my god, I can't believe you said that. When Heather gets on there, you're in so much trouble. I'm like, I like 9 times out of 10 will run the joke past her before I've ever posted it. And if I haven't, if it's something that pops in my head while I was at work or something like that, I'll just go ahead and throw it up there, But then I will show it to her like as soon as we get home. Like an important thing about marriage, kiddies, is that you can still be an asshole. It's just a matter of how big of an asshole you are. Most people will be okay with you being an asshole if you're upfront about you being an asshole. I think my wife looks at me a lot of ways like Thor looks at Loki. Like, I know you're going to be a dick, so I'm just going to roll with it because I adore you, And because I'm secretly a Frost Giant. No. Fucking wish I was, dude. Annoying coworkers, frozen ass. Like today, I'd be like freezing this fucking place. It's fucking scalding in here. Now I'll go back to the Vegas trip for a second. I'll tell you some fun, embarrassing news. From that stuff. I'll tell you, there's a couple good stories from there. Actual real ones, as opposed to the bullshit, like I said, about my wife. I guess it was like the first morning there. Now again, we were bleary and punch drunk, me and my brother. And I'm one of those people, I cannot function without a shower in the morning. I just can't. I know there's people who say, oh, it's not healthy for you to shower every day. I cannot function. I mean, if I don't take a shower and I'm forced out of the house or whatever, and it's happened on more than one occasion, if I overslept or something like that, it's a horrible, horrible day. Usually, like, I have pretty bad circulation. So, if it's cold and I've overslept or anything like that, I got problems. I got a lot of problems. So that being said, we're quite punch drunk. And I'm like, I gotta take my shower, dude. I gotta get in the shower. Now, the room we were in at the Golden Nugget, like I said, it was it's a Vegas hotel room. I mean, it's good size compared to like a lot of places I'm used to staying. What I was not expecting, I mean, even though I knew it was there, was the big fucking mirror that was like unusually large in the bathroom. And I forget what I think I dropped something before I got into the shower. So I bent over after I'd already gotten ready to get in there. So I was buck-ass naked. And I bend over, and like my eyes kind of caught, like out of the corner as I'm reaching in or whatever. What I thought was a fucking goat. Turns out it was just my own hairy ass I was looking at. But it scared the shit out of me, man. And what's kind of funny, I'll go forward in this story. When I was younger, now I've laying in here, and you can see a couple scars I have up here. I got a nice one on my ear here. When I was young, I was very accident prone. And one of the accidents I had was we were going up to Boston to visit my cousins. I might have been 9, maybe 8. Not sure. Memory's funky. I guess it must have been 8, because I was about to take my first shower. I was like, I'll take my first shower of my own, Before I had taken baths. I'm a man now. I'm coming to take my shower. When you're a kid, you fucking think weird shit like that. Yeah. So, I'll take my shower, and I was so excited for it, I just fucking, jumped in the tub. And I didn't know that you were supposed to, those little sticky things are there to, keep you from slipping or anything like that. No, didn't pay attention. I fucking jumped practically right in there. I didn't take my shirt off. I was so excited to jump in the shower, I didn't even pay attention. I didn't have my shirt off. Signs of ADD, right? I mean, at least I'm diagnosed now. But anyway, I took a fucking header. Boom! The shower's running already, you know what I mean? I jumped in there, thunk! Cracked my head right in this area. On the faucet. Now, the only, it was, my family would just get a hotel room, single hotel room, or So my folks and everybody was in the same hotel room, but here's where it's funny. My brother was in the bathroom getting ready for bed as well. So he's over there brushing his teeth when this happens. To which my parents basically accused him of pushing me. He did not. I just want to make that clear to start. He did not push me. But here I am freaking out now in Vegas about, the fuck is that? And like I said, it turned out to be my own ass. but my brother's in the other room. And so now he's suddenly a little nervous. You all right? It's like, yeah, I just thought there was a goat in here. It's just my ass. So, there's a fun, embarrassing story for the one viewer who's probably not really here. I don't know who it could be. But you guys are lurkers. But, so there's a good one for you. Now, I've mentioned this on here before, but I'll tell it again. This is another good one. We went to the Bellagio, and there's an art gallery up there. If you remember in Ocean's 11, that's what Julia Roberts, like, she's the curator of that, or whatever in that. Okay. So my fun story of that art gallery. I am notorious. If you go digging through the archives here, you would find a kind of art summary thing I did, one day between, I didn't have enough time to really start a new painting, so I just put together a quick little thing about how I think about art, how I like to look at it. And I mentioned in that one about how I like to get very close to paintings, sometimes uncomfortably close to paintings, for the guards. Not uncomfortable for me. I find it very comfortable, but the guards don't tend to like it. And so we're at the Bellagio Art Gallery. And now the first thing is I don't ever use audio tours. Okay? Even if they're free. I don't need them. I know I have forgotten more about art history than your average person remembers, or has ever learned in their lifetime, for God's sakes. Admittedly, I should probably use it and catch back up, but 9 times out of 10, I prefer art anyway without context. I think it allows you to see stuff that when you're not trying to throw it into what was that artist doing at the time. Can you find what that artist was doing at the time? What was going on. Like, if someone looks at the paintings that I've been doing since 2017, can they see how much of my breakdown that I was talking about? Can they tell that there was a breakdown? Can they tell there's... I mean, I'll be honest, there's some depressing shit that happens. Last Breath and my study of El Greco's St. Francis and Brother Leo meditating on death. There's some gloomy shit there. So maybe the people that would become familiar with my work over time might go, why is this shit so dark? Anyway. So we get to the Bellagio, and their audio tours are free. There. So the person goes up to me. He's going through the line, audio tour, audio tour. He gets up to me, audio tour, and I go, no thanks. He's like, audio tour? I was like, no, I'm good, thank you. And he's looking at me like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do. No one's ever turned him down. I'm like, I'm good, don't worry, buddy. And he's like, his eyes are bugging out. Like that, I keep forgetting I don't have the face cam on. And he's like, okay, He moves on eventually. We're in there, and my brother, my dad, and my mom are going through. And I'm going through slower because that's how I go through art museums. I go through stupid slow. And at one point, I see my mom, and she's kind of gone around the room once before, and I'm still over on this one, whatever. So I walk over to her, and I'm seeing what she's looking at, and I start talking about it. I believe it was Jackson Pollock, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was Pollock. Might have been the Picasso. No, I think it was the Pollock. And I'm pointing out, oh, I like this thing here. Yeah, I'll pretend this is the Pollock. It's pretty much a bunch of shit thrown at the canvas anyway. I like this bit here. And the thing about the Bellagio is they have laser guards. So whereas, say, if you go to the Barnes Foundation, they have a little outline there, along the floor. And if you cross the guards, excuse me, sir, can you please back up from me? Okay. The Bellagio just has laser guards. I mean, they got guards around, but the laser guards are the main protectors of the pieces. And I apparently crossed it. And the Bellagio went into lockdown. And, no, not the Bellagio, but the gallery. The gallery with all the doors shut and everything, nobody was getting out. And so that was fun. And the thing about my family, and maybe it's the same for your family, I don't know. There's nobody here talking back to me. But the thing about my family is, if you cause a lockdown at a Las Vegas casino, they never let you live it down. I mean, fucking every Christmas, practically. We're talking family stories, and that shit comes up. Anytime my parents talk about going to Las Vegas, and they're like, oh, we can't bring Ryan because we locked down the Bellagio. Like, for fuck's sakes. I turned 21 19 years ago. Okay, and this was the February after I turned 21, so we're talking about 18 and a half years ago, and that shit still follows me. I mean, I didn't get arrested or nothing, you know, something like that. But damn, man, they won't let that shit go. So, if I'm not mistaken, that takes us up to 10:30, which is usually when I call this. And I think that's about right. I think we're good. I'll put like one little dash right in here. No, come on. You just show up. Piece of shit. Alright, let's try this. Just want like a little highlight there. There we go. Let's put a few more right in here. I just want to make sure he's like done. You know, like done. And I might go back with his beak or something tomorrow. Do a little something different. Brighten up with a little more yellow or something. So it makes sense that this guy's beak's a little brighter, then it goes to he should be brighter than that, right? And this one's beak's a little brighter, so he should be brighter than that. Maybe get their eyes in there. So yeah, I think that's just about it for tonight, kiddies. I just want to throw in a few more darker lines to this olive gray. No, olive green. Fucking olive gray. My brain is not working well today. A lot of noise today at work, like in my head and in the phones. Tomorrow's gonna be our trick, man. Tomorrow is, not tomorrow. Wednesday. Fuck, it's gonna be Wednesday. I'm probably going to come in here early because I don't have to work, so that means I don't have to wait till, 6 o'clock to come home and eat and do all that shit and try to get everything done before I come in here to stream at 8. I can play my games a little bit in the day, so I'm not trying to warm up or, do some practice at least beforehand. So yeah, I'll try to get in here a little early on Wednesday because I need to get some extra time in. I've got to finish... 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, it's done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Touching up 7, 8. So we've got 8 beasts we got to finish up. They got to get done, or we're in some serious shit. So we're going to. That was a little squiggly guy, right? He's a little fucked up. Guy's a little fucked up. He's like the Quasimodo, he's like the Eric Trump of the family, you know what I mean? Father! Anyway. If you're not a fan of Seth Meyers, you won't get that. Sorry. Why have you forsaken me, Father? Yeah, just get some colors in there. I'm going to dip this a little bit. I always wanted to make sure they're still moist when I come back. Moist. So another word drives people nuts. Moist. That'll do it. Try to make it fucking runny. That's not where I wanted it to drop. So I'm going to put it in there. Okay. So the this is funny, but just adding to the palette does it. All right, that's gonna call it for tonight. So we'll be back in here on Wednesday. Tomorrow I gotta get my cut. I gotta get fresh, trimmed by the buzzing it like hell. We'll keep working. Hopefully it won't be so fucking hot in here because it's still reading 77, but there's no way that's right. Feels fucking ridiculous in here. Look for the archives on YouTube again. I forgot to export last night's, but I'll get that in tonight real quick. It'll be up by tomorrow. I should be able to find it via painting for Lunatics. And let's see. Hopefully we get this shit's done. If I cannot finish these animals Wednesday, what that means is this painting will not be finished when I go away on vacation. So what we will be doing then is trying to very selectively pick what we're working on. Most likely, if I can't get these things done tomorrow night, not tomorrow night, I keep saying it, Wednesday night, I'll try to finish up Thursday, and then outside of that, we may just be doing flooring and the desk. Like, we may not bother with the figure yet, because the figure is going to be intricate. I mean, it's not going to be crazy difficult, but there's still going to be a lot of dashes. Still going to be a lot of stuff to do. So we're probably going to hold off on that. That's what my gut's telling me right now is this isn't getting wrapped up before we go on vacation. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, I did technically do what I wanted to do, I think. Last night I said I need to get him done, and I wanted to touch this guy. I wanted to get in him too, but I didn't get to him. So that makes me worried. But so instinctively I'm saying Wednesday, hopefully finish these guys. If not, Thursday we'll finish them up and just touch the desk. I really don't think we're finishing this before vacation, just looking at it. And I guess that's it. All right. And I will catch you guys on Wednesday. Hopefully a little early. I'll send out a notice on my Facebook page. The link's in the goddamn chat box. Follow me on Twitter at Brian Coates Art. Facebook is facebook.com/Brian Coates Paintings. TwoSocietyStudios.com. That'll work as well. Where else can I do it? Shit. What else I got? Come on, let me think. Patreon.com/Menaceart. That one works as well if you guys want to donate. I worked out some levels. I think it's a pretty good tier system. You know what? If you see this, check it out. Let me know. If you think it's top heavy or whatever, you think it's bottom heavy, whatever. Let me know. If you're a top or a bottom, let me know. All right? Have a good night, guys.